First off, I want to thank the Army, especially the soldiers of the National Guard, for their efforts in supporting Capitol Security mission over the last several months. While there has been discussion on a much-needed supplemental appropriations bill to cover these costs, I'm getting nervous about what will happen if those funds are not approved and approved soon. So, Secretary Wormuth, can you give us some insight on how much the Army is insured across its components from that mission? What sort of trade-offs that you're going to have to make as you push funds around to cover those costs in the short term?
Yes, Chairman Tester. Right now, the resources basically to pay for the support that the National Guard has provided to the Capitol, and I want to take a minute also to just recognize their enormous contribution, is about $450 million. So that is the bill associated with the support that they provided in this execution year. If we are not able to cover that, right now the Army Guard is basically in a situation where they are concerned about their ability to pay for training for the rest of this year. So without that, those resources, the Guard, for example, and this is in states all around the country, will find themselves with training issues that are going to affect, both their aviation readiness, for example, their ability to have readiness with their ground vehicles. They're going to have, again, many of the training exercises that they have put off because of everything else they've been doing in support of COVID, in support of the Southwest border, in support of being here in the Capitol. All of that regularly scheduled training has been postponed and now is at risk of not being able to be funded. And so it's definitely a concern and something that will impact our Guard all around the nation.
So has training been postponed already?
Senator, no. My sense of the situation is at this point they have been, they're in a position where they don't want to spend funds for the remainder of the year because then they will be basically at a point of being in violation of the Anti-Deficiency Act.
Gotcha.
So it's really looking at the summer months, July, August, September.
That's when it'll kick in.
Yes.
That's good to know. General McConville, one proposal that's being floated openly is the idea of a standing military quick reaction force for Capitol security. How do you feel about this mission, and do you think it's appropriate for the Army?
Well, my best military advice, Senator, is law enforcement should be conducted by law enforcement agencies, and the military should be the last resort when it comes to law enforcement.
I appreciate your direct answer to that. Thank you very, very much. Shift the Pacific. We're driving a lot of modernization priorities. To fight China, the Army is going to need helicopters with increased range and speed and missiles with very long ranges. This year's budget request includes an increase in investments in Army's modernization priorities from $9.5 billion to $11.3 billion. General McConnell, can you give a quick overview of your increased investments in FY 2022 and how they support the shift to the Pacific?
Yes, Senator. We have about $1.9 billion focused on the Pacific. That does not include the pay for the 69,000 soldiers that operate in Pacific. Key to what we're providing the combatant commanders out there is we provide them new organizations, Security Force Assistance Brigades, which allows them to work closely with our allies and partners in the region and build up their capacity. We're developing a multi-domain task force that provides really two capabilities: long-range precision effects, which is very, very important in the competition because they can do intelligence, they can do information operations, they can do cyber electronic warfare and space operations. They also have the capability, which we're developing, is long-range precision fires, which helps with deterrence because it gives us the ability to potentially penetrate any type of anti-access air denial capability that is set up by potential competitors in the region. We're also doing multiple exercises, so we have a chance to work with our allies and partners, and we are present throughout the region, which is very, very important to reassuring our fellow land components that will be there when they need us.
Thank you, General.